so hurt at, when my grandfather passed away. You know what I mean? Like, I was in no man's land, and I didn't get the time to properly grieve. And this all plays into the Golovkin fight, because my grandfather passed away at 80 years old, the very end of 2013. I fight Golovkin the beginning of 2015.
Okay.
So after my grandfather passed away, check this timeline. As soon as my grandfather passed away, 2 weeks later I had a fight. I won like 2 minor little titles, like little belts you win on your way up. I won 2 minor little titles. Then I got into box. Well, I went to spar with Austin Trout in
New Mexico.
In New Mexico, yeah. Shout out to Austin Trout, man. I learned a lot in camp with Austin Trout. Right after the camp with Austin Trout, let me go back to Austin Trout. I got to give Austin Trout props, because there was one morning, my grandfather passed away in September. I was out there with Austin in November. I fought in October, then I was out there with Austin in November. And I was still like in no man's land. I couldn't believe my grandfather was gone still. You know what I mean? My grandparents raised me from a month old. Here I am, 26 years old, and my grandfather's gone. That's all I've known for 26 years. So one day I almost didn't make it to the gym, and I'm just bawling, crying. And Austin like, yo, what's up? And, and I'm like, man, like, I'm just having a rough day. I had a real crazy dream about my grandfather. I lost my grandfather a couple months ago. And Austin's such a nice person, man. Like, one of the most humble dudes, and was one of the best camps I've been part of. Like, he pulled me aside. He told me the story about his grandmother. He told a story. Well, Austin Trout's grandmother passed away at his wedding. So she was able to make it. So he was like, I know how you feel. I know what you're going through. So, he talked me through it. We got through it. I sparred. That was like one of my best sparring days. And I come out of camp with Austin Trout. Boom. They want me to fight Caleb Truax on a 3-week notice.
From Minnesota.
From Minnesota.
In Minnesota?
In Minnesota on ESPN, January 3rd.
Coming off Donovan George, maybe?
Huh?
Coming off a Donovan George win?
Could have been. I know he was, but he ended up fighting Ozzie Durant.
Okay.
But what happened is they tried to give me the fight on a 3-week notice.
Well, per usual.
And I had saw Caleb Truax fight before. I said, and the biggest purse I had ever made by that time was $4,000. And they said, yeah, $10,000. I said, yes. Said, but send me the contract.
You're like, let me sign?
Where do I sign? Because I had saw Caleb Truax fight. I said, I'm going to box this dude's ear off. He's too slow to catch a cold. They thought, man, like, and then somebody told my management, nah, we know he just left camp with Austin Trout, and we know he's probably in good shape.
So they want to go a different direction.
They went a different direction. So they fought Ozzie Durant. So right after that, Boxino came up. Okay, you're not fighting on ESPN, but here's Boxino. First person to sign a contract, like I told you before. I fight, I get into Boxino February. We fight the last day of February, and then we fight April 18th, and then we fight May 23rd. So through all this time, I'm having no time to grieve, because I'm doggedly training and focusing on this big moment. So we get to Boxino. Boxino's over. I win Boxino. I win the belts and everything. I give, I'm so hype off the moment. I'm just like, thank you, God. And my grandfather's watching over me. That happens in May. I come back home. I got to get prepared for my wedding. July, I get married. After July, we move into a bigger spot. My daughter's in school. It's just so much going on. I help my grandmother move into a bigger spot. Then I go to Russia twice to help, I forget his name, train, and we never got a chance to spar, so they sent me back. Then I fight Brian Vera, because this is the end of 2014.
Oh yeah, that didn't go good for Brian Vera.
And I fought Brian Vera January 2015, and then I fight Golovkin 4 months later.
It was really, was it for, you know better than me, but I feel like you fought in January, and then you fought maybe in April?
No, I fought Brian Vera January 16th, and then I fought, January 11th or something, like January 16th. And then I fought Golovkin May 16th.
Okay, it's May 16th. Because what I remember, and my map's off, I'm sure, is it felt like you fought and then you were back in camp, like pretty much.
Well, honestly, we were planning on going back down to 154.
And then you got a big fight.
You got to realize, I just fought, when I fought Gabriel Zotto, I came in at 158 pounds. Could have went back down to 54. But they offered me to fight with Golovkin. I'm like, yo.
Let's do it.
I'm not signed to a big promoter. I would give anything to have a Cameron Duncan, a Al Heyman, a Jay Prince, a big golden. At this point in my career, I would give anything to have those guys in my corner because they make sure, but I didn't have that. So I'm like, I can't pass up this championship opportunity. I don't care, because if I pass this up, I'll never get it again.